Hey everyone, my name's Kevin Snyder. I've got the privilege of being your keynote speaker at the upcoming IECA annual conference. Now, the team at IECA asked me to put together this short little video for you to support you in designing your presentation and presenting it at the annual conference. So first and foremost, congratulations. The fact that your program was selected says a lot about you, and it also says a lot about your content. So in this short video, what I'm going to share with you are some tips, some strategies, and some best practices to help you outline your presentation, deliver it in the most effective way, and even share with you some slide design best practices that will make sure that the audience members are listening to you and not squinting at your slides. So if that sounds good, let's get started. Okay, step number one, let's just get the elephant out of the room. Nervousness. Will you likely be nervous before your breakout session? Yeah, you probably will. Most people are, and it's completely fine. That means you're human. Unless you are a professional speaker, you're probably going to be fairly nervous. In fact, there's times that I'm even nervous, but I relate that nervousness, I don't call it nervousness, I call it energy. And the more that I've prepared and the more that I've practiced, the less that nervousness is going to show. So even if you feel nervous, that's completely fine. Embrace it, expect it, and make sure that you're prepared enough so that that nervousness simply doesn't show. Okay? So that's completely fine that you might be a little nervous, especially if this is your first time presenting at a conference. Now, the second tip is this. Let's have fun. Your audience members want to be engaged. Now, even the most technical presenters, yes, they're technical rich, there's content rich type presentations, but an audience, if they're sitting in a chair listening for 45 minutes to 60 minutes, they also want to be engaged. And one of the best ways to engage an audience, whether it's a group of 20 or a group of 200 or a group of 2,000, one of the best ways to engage with them is for the presenter to simply enjoy the time that they have, to engage with them, to have fun. So I know that some of your topics can be fairly complex and they're very important. They need to be engaging with the audience as well. And one of the best ways to do that is to simply have fun with the audience as well. And I don't mean by starting off with a joke, but find a way to, throughout your presentation, to have fun with the audience too, to make sure that there's parts where they might be laughing at something because it's through a story that you shared or something of that nature. So in just a moment, when we talk about story organization or presentation organization, I'll share with you some tips on how I have fun with my audiences and how you can do the same. Tip 3, remember the acronym PSA, Point, Story, Application. This is what separates mediocre presentations from great presentations. The point, it's the overall purpose. It's subtle, it's succinct. The story is the example. It's the message carrying that point. It's a personal example that you've experienced through your work or in your life. And it's usually what can also be engaging and entertaining, but also it can connect to the emotions of the listeners. That's the story. Now, the application is where you become the problem solver. Now it becomes about how the listener, those people in your audience, how they can apply your content. Also, why it's relevant for them, why it even matters. Because otherwise, your presentation might be from point to point to point, content. But when our audience can understand why it matters and they can apply it in their own life or in their own work, now you become very valuable. You become a problem solver for them. So in the next step, as we begin to outline the presentation, we have to have these chunks of PSAs throughout it so that it can deliver the maximum value. Tip 4. Now, once we've organized all of our speech content into the PSA chunks or nuggets, now we have to put it together so it fits into that nice puzzle. How I do this and how I coach my speaker clients to do this is by creating what I call a speaker storyboard. Now, I'll share this example with you so that you can complete it on your own. But ultimately, what this storyboard allows us to do is to time our presentation in the right way into the PSA nuggets that we need. The outcome of this will be that our audience has a heartbeat. If we don't organize our presentation with a heartbeat, the audience won't have one. Now, what do I mean by a heartbeat? It's not ups and downs from an emotional standpoint, but it's different levels of connection. So, for example, where will people in your audience, where will they be listening to you? Okay, where will they be writing something down? Where will they be reflecting? Where will they be sharing? Where might they be watching something on your presentation slide deck, like a video? Where will they be listening? Where will they be laughing or moving? So there's many different ways to connect with different personality styles, but also you want to create that heartbeat so it's always moving. When you're putting the storyboard together, if you see that, it's me talking, there's really no difference in what they're doing. It's the same. Well, that's the flat line. That's what you don't want. If you can share elements of your presentation where, okay, yeah, it might be you lecturing or you talking for a few moments, make sure that at least that there's parts where they will be laughing. There's parts where they will be connecting, listening to maybe a story that you've shared that it connects to them in some way. You want those audience emotions to be moving. And you also want their movements to be moving as well, where they're not just listening the entire time. They're writing down, they are sharing, they're watching, they might be moving. So the speaker storyboard that I'll share a template with you allows you to then outline your speech into these nuggets and put them in the right way so that you create that heartbeat. That heartbeat will engage the audience. Tip number 5 is extremely important, and it's where most people fall short. Practice, practice, practice. So think of the ways or the opportunities that you might have to practice your content in front of other people and get live feedback. It's one thing to write an outline. It's another thing to create a presentation slide deck. It's something completely different when you present that in front of human beings who are looking at you and you're looking at their body language and lots of things are going on in your head. So ultimately what you want to do is practice your speech in front of as many people as possible, but also to do it in a way where you can get feedback. Okay? So I've got a speech review form that I'll share with you. And that is it's a resource for you to, when you are practicing, to get the feedback that you need. And I've designed that for me, for my own presentations when I was just starting off, but also I share it with my speaker coaching clients. So that is a resource for you as well. You also want to practice, and whether it's on your iPhone or a video camera or using Zoom on your computer, record yourself, watch yourself present. And this is one of the most painful things that even the best professional speakers struggle with, because I hear it from them. When I watch myself on video, sometimes we're our own worst critics. But watch yourself on video as well. And Toastmasters is also a great resource. There's clubs that meet daily at various times of the day, every day of the week. Type up toastmasters.com or toastmasters.org. Find a club near you is one of the links, and check out clubs that are in your area. And they're always looking for guest speakers. You don't need to join a Toastmasters group, but if you're one of those folks and you're serious about wanting to get better in speaking, or at least to practice your speaking, Toastmasters is a great, safe place to put yourself in an environment with other people who also want to improve their speaking, and they know how to give feedback in a constructive way. Okay? Remember this, repetition's the mother of skill. If you want to be good at anything, you gotta practice. So don't let practice opportunities amiss for this upcoming presentation at the conference. Tip 6 is going to deal with some logistics for your speech to make sure that things don't get in the way. Number 1, bring one of these little USBs with you. I'm sure that there's probably a vendor or a supplier here at the conference that will give you one, but that might be after your presentation. So you want to have your presentation and any supporting files on this USB. And that's just in case something's going haywire with your presentation laptop or the laptop that you're using and you need to transfer files to another different computer. So be sure that all your files are on a USB. Number 2, have a clicker. You're probably going to be provided with one of these, but be familiar with how to use it. This allows you to move away and get outside from standing behind a lectern, because that is going to be the boundary or the barrier between you and your audience. This allows you to walk freely in front of your audience or even within your audience. This clicker is an engagement opportunity. So make sure that you have one, and even if you're provided with one, be able to practice with one so you're familiar with how to use it. All right. Number 3, do not use or rely on Wi-Fi or the internet for your presentation. If you're going to play a video and you have to click to watch it on the internet, then download that movie file or download that file. There's ways to do that. Contact me if I can help, but you don't want to rely on Wi-Fi or the internet. And even if it works when you're testing it out or practicing it, it may not work when there's 50 people in the room or 100 people in the room all using Wi-Fi as well. One other thing I recommend that you do at the beginning of your presentation to keep that energy up, that heartbeat up, play one of your favorite songs or two while people are coming into the room. It's easy to add that, an audio file to your PowerPoint or to your presentation. Go ahead and just add a little bit of music in there so that before you start, already the energy level is increased. Okay? Now those are 4 simple logistics to help you make your presentation the best. Now we're going to go to step 7. Number 7 is all about slide design. Now, slides should be used to augment the presentation, to add to it, not to be a crutch where the presenter reads the slides, because it's going to show. Now, whether you are designing your presentation or you've already designed it, I want you to remember a couple benchmarks here to help you design it or reflect on your slides to make sure that they are contributing to your overall presentation. Remember the rule of 30, okay? Your font size in your slides should be no smaller than 30. You should have no more words than 30, and you want to try to stick to 30 slides in your entire presentation. So plus or minus, you'll be fine, but use that as a general benchmark. If your font size is less than 30, people are going to be squinting, and they're not going to be listening to you. If you've got more words than 30 per slide, you're going to likely have to fit those in, so they will be squinting. But let yourself, the presenter, carry what's in that slide. One recommendation I would have for you would be to use an image, use a picture. So here's some examples of some slides that, aren't too good. And then here are some pictures of slides that are very clean. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. They're exactly right. Just make sure that they're not on your slide. All right, so I hope these are some simple tips to help support you in designing your presentation. We've given you some tips on delivery, some tips on slide design, some tips on just you feeling good and energetic about your speech, and really, ultimately, you as a problem solver, as an expert presenter, focusing on how your content will help people and also be actionable is really going to be the package that's going to deliver the most value for your presentation. So once again, I congratulate you on having your presentation selected. I look forward to meeting you at the upcoming conference. And if I can help out in any way, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Again, my name's Kevin Snyder, excited to be your keynote speaker at the upcoming IECA annual conference. Take care.